This is Project 6, and this is the third video. And so far we were able to estimate how many block that we need plus 5% overage, as well as how much mortar that we need, and we added in 15% overage for that. Now, we're wanting to figure out, and you can't see it on this 3D image, but these block are 8 inch by 8 inch by 16 inch, and there are two core holes in these. They're two cells. Concrete blocks are cells, and bricks have cores, but these are cells, and we want to fill all these block cells with grout. Okay, if you remember in your reading what grout is just a real soupy, thin concrete. It also has an addition of it's got quite a bit more hydrated lime in it. Lime gives it a little bit more workability to be able to flow down through the cracks and crevices as it pours down in those cells. Now, first thing that we need to look at is our little calculation sheets. And guys, it's so important that you put these calculation sheets up and keep them handy, okay? Because if you get into this side of manufacturing of materials and estimating, you need this to look at. Now, if you'll scroll down here on that block and mortar calculation sheet, you have the last page shows you the grout and how to estimate grout. Now, a block that we're using are 8 by 8 by 16s, and they're 2 core. You can have 3 core, but we use 2 cores. And you'll notice over here what it says. This is per one block is 0.25 cubic feet of grout that you would need to fill one block up. That's both cells because it has 2 core. Alright? So it's really simple and it's really easy. Only thing you got to do is figure out how many block that you have. Now, if you remember, we had 232.65 was our exact estimate, and then we added that 5% overage on it, and we end up with 245 block is what we would estimate on. Well, in this we need to estimate. We need to go ahead and get the exact numbers, use the exact numbers, and then put your overage on at the end, tack that on. So 232.65, we'll say 233 block. And all you have to do, go to your calculator, and we'll go back to our worksheet with our calculator brought up. 233 block, and times it by 2 core, 0.25. And this is our number. 58.25 cubic feet of grout is what we need to fill up all of that volume. And remember, when you're doing cubic feet, that means 3 axes, length times width times height. And that's how much it took to fill up. Grout's similar to concrete. Okay, it's the same principle. You're just filling up those voids inside of those blocks. So 58.25 cubic feet is what we need. And a rule of thumb for grout. Rule of thumb for grout is 10%. And if you use the 10%, what you do is take your 58.25 and times it by 0.10. That would be 10%. And it equals 5.82. So we're just going to tack that number on to what we had. 5.825. And again, we had 233 block, and we times it by, again, 0.25. We add our 5 0.825 overage onto it, you get 64, and it's close enough to 64, and I'd estimate on 64 cubic feet of grout to be able to fill all of those cells in this foundation wall.